Namuli, Tashakadara Sanidi, Visabanujas, Takeli Kunja Babananganamajini Shama, Bhajami Radha Ravinda Netram, Smarami Radha Madura Smitasham, Badhami Radha Karuna Burajam, Tato Manasti Gati Nakapi, Bhakita Vahina Yaparada Lakshai, Chiptas Chakamadi Tarangamaji, Kripamai Twang Sharanam Prapadam, Brinde Namaste Charanam, Kanaka Jaladagatro Nila Sobhagya Netro, Mrigumaravara Balu Malati Kundamalo, Taruna Taruna Vesho, Nilampitambaresho, Smarani Nibritini Kunje Radhika Krishna Chandro Vanchakalpatru Vischa Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, let's finish. Haribol, so devotees on the phone conference, and if you are, can you hear? Who? Haribol Manini, can you hear? I can't hear anything back. Haribol. Jai Shri Radha Govinda Ji Jai. Jai Shri Satchinanda Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Jai Shri Gurudev Prabhupada Ki Jai. So today is not only the most auspicious day, in spiritual terms, most auspicious is always any time Bhagavan or his or devotees appear, it's most auspicious. So there's really no metric to describe most auspicious. Every single appearance day, any Vaishnava Tithi, anything is always most auspicious day. So that's fine, because in the spiritual world, we don't have to measure things. In the material world, the very meaning of the word Maya means that which can be measured. So in the spiritual paradigm, we don't have to have a metric for measurement. Okay. So any time that we do anything, it is the best of everything. You can make that kind of metric in the material world if you say that you had some, that you've done something and you could say, oh, that was the best. Then truly, compared to other things you may have done in the same vein, that one time may have genuinely been the best. Haribol Manini, you can hear, and other devotees you can hear? I guess they can hear. They can hear. Okay. So, but in spiritual paradigm, fortunately, we're not restricted like that. So anytime that we have, especially a month like this month, including the end of August, where we have the appearance of Daubaya Balaji, and then we have also Krishna Janmastami, and we have the appearance day on Nandotsav of our Srila Prabhupada, and then again 2 weeks later we have Radhastami, then it is the most auspicious of auspicious of auspicious. You understand? Especially this day, Radhastami is so auspicious because for most persons who have any kind of Sambandha Gyan and Bhakti, Sambandha Gyan means an understanding of your goal, your prayojan, and according to that prayojan, you have a certain abhiman in your practice. If you've not developed this abhiman based on your guru mantras and guru dhyan in your Diksha mantras, then you should seek out any high class of Vaishnav and you should get Siksha from that Vaishnav to develop Sambandha Gyan. Because without Sambandha Gyan, you cannot practice properly. Something will be there. I gave one talk some time ago on the evolution of Harinam. For many people, they're chanting 32 syllables. It's called Namakshara. If their maturation becomes a little deeper, then that Namakshara will turn into realization of 16 names. Those 16 names will still be in the realm of Prakrita Bhakti, means material worship. Like in the verse, Acharyam Eva Haraye Shradapujayate, right? That those who are practicing bhakti, they're worshiping the deity, they can identify, oh, this deity is Krishna, this deity is Radharani. You understand? So this means they've understand 16 names. But only when a person's chanting comes to the level where they can understand that these 16 names can only function as 8 pairs. Somebody tell me why these 16 names can only be really truly understood as 8 pairs. Somebody I know, because I spoke this here before, I think. Or didn't, maybe not. Meeting separation is one thing, but why especially can they not be considered anything but 8 pairs? The true chanting Harinam has to be seen as 8 pairs. They are one Swarup. Yes, yes. So because Radha Krishna Achayi Sada Eki Swarup, Lila Rasa Ashwadite Dhare Dui Rup. Radha and Krishna are one Swarup. They're not two different people. Radha is Krishna Shakti, Krishna Shakti Mam. So they can never be separated. So if you see Harinam only according to Hare Krishna, 32 syllables, or Hare Krishna, 16 names, your chanting has not yet become mature. You have to see that your chanting becomes mature when you realize these 8 pairs of names are indispensable. You understand? They're always eternally connected. And then when you understand how these 8 pairs of names are eternally connected, then as Didi mentioned earlier, you can begin to understand that without meeting and separation, praying cannot be nourished. Therefore, inherent in these 8 pair of names is all of the principles of praying. Mahaprabhu told in Shishashtakam, Namnam Akri Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. All of my Shakti, the same thing that is directly Radha and Krishna, is all present in Sri Harinam. Understand? So it means all prema is also present in Harinam. If prema is not present in Harinam, how you get prema from chanting it? You understand? So all prema is present there. Later I will discuss what is prema. But all prema is present in Harinam. And it means all of the various moods of prema are also present in Harinam. Mahaprabhu also told, Chiraraptatam Nijaguptavitam Swanama Prem Amrita Atyudara, that everything, all of the Amrit, that means the nectar. The nectar comes from the Rasa. Rasa is the Samadri which makes up Prem. I'll discuss that. But the nectar that comes from that is also in Harinam. You understand? So by chanting this Harinam, everything can be realized. Therefore, also in that Harinam, in those 8 pairs of Yugul, Nam, is also all Ashtakaliya Lila. Understand? In Bhajana Hasya, explains all of these things. So in that Harinam is the Nitya Lila of Krishna. You understand? In that same Harinam. Now, amazingly, in that same Harinam, because Prem is fully present there, that Prem develops to the point where that 8 pairs of names are realized as one name. What one name will those 8 pairs of names be realized as? Right. All right, we got to take a consensus. How many people say Radha? How many people have another opinion? What's the other opinion? Mahaprabhu. Why? Shri Radha Pranaya Vikriti Ladini Shakti Ashmad. The cause of the transformation of the love which exists between Radha and Krishna Yugal culminates in the appearance of Mahaprabhu. You understand? So Mahaprabhu's form is the culmination of prema. You understand? That's why Mahaprabhu's Leela is called what? Prem Purushottam Leela. Krishna is Leela Purushottam because there is no Leela which is higher than Krishna's Leela. After all Dasavatars perform their Leela, there is no Leela which is superior to the Leela of Krishna. But even in Krishna Leela, Purva Vrajavilase Etinabilas, Krishna himself was left with 3 desires. Therefore, Leela is not the greatest thing. is our prayojan Leela. What's our prayojan? Therefore, Mahaprabhu's Leela is called Prem Purushottam Leela. Because the understanding or culmination of Nam culminates when you understand that all of these 32 syllables, 16 names, 8 yugul of the name, including Ashtakali Leela and everything else, culminates in the transformations of Prem that become the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, even those in Braj want to go into the Leela of Mahaprabhu. Therefore, when Mahaprabhu comes, all the associates of previous incarnations also come. Prem naiva goparamanam kamamityagamat pratam udava adayo pietan vajanti bhagavat priya. All devotees from previous incarnations, Hanuman, Panch Pandavas, 4 Kumaras, Prahalad, all come into Gaur Leela. Because in that Leela, they can taste the intensity of what was Braj Leela. In the special Dorja Leela of Mahaprabhu, I explained this last time when I was talking on Janmashtami. Understand? In this Dorja Leela, all the previous associates come and they taste what is the intensity of Braj mood. That's why Mahaprabhu told. Prem Rosni Askarite Ahashwadan. Mahaprabhu himself is now tasting the height of what is praying. Understand? And inspired by realizing the height of Prem, now Mahaprabhu is saying, Prem Rasniyas Karite Ashwadam, Rag Marg Bhakti Lok Karite Pracharan. I will preach this Rag Marg, this path of what is Braj Bhakti to the Bhakta Lok. Understand? Not to every single individual person, to the Bhakta Lok. Bhakta Lok means all the previous pure devotees. Understand? Now, those devotees who come into Mahaprabhu's Leela, especially the Nitya associates of Brajadam, like Rup Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, or Rup Manjari, Rati Manjari, Lavanga Manjari, they come and on behalf of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his order, they take the shiksha from Mahaprabhu and they distribute it to the whole world. That's why Yankali Rupam Sharira Nadarata, Tan Raja Prema Mahaniri Kutrika. If Rup Goswami had not come, even if Mahaprabhu came, could we have bhakti now? Therefore, who's actually the dispenser of bhakti on behalf of Mahaprabhu? Goswami Vaga, yes. And in kind also our Guru Parampara. Because if Rupa Goswami had not come, we would not understand any of these things. So in that same vein, what is the Swarup and what is the nature of Radhika's praying was also revealed by Rupa Goswami Pad. Even Shukdev Goswami did not reveal this to Maharaj Parikshit directly. He could not. Because in order to reveal Radhika's praying, you would have had to mention how many times Radhika's name. And Shukdev Goswami, because he's the Krita Shuk, means he's the play parrot of Radhika. His emotional state was so high after he heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Vyasadeva that Radha Nama Prachane Na Murchita Sanmasiko Bhavet. If Shukdev Goswami had tried to speak all the things that Rupa Goswami Pad spoke, he would have fainted for 6 months. And of course, Maharaj Parikshit was on a schedule. So it became a little difficult to accommodate the ecstasies of Shukdev Goswami. You understand? But at Prayag, I also explained this last time I was here, at Prayag, at Dasha Ashwamedha Ghat, right? Mahaprabhu gave instructions to Rupa Goswami Pad. And he told Vrindavan and Yamnasakeli Vartam, Kalena Luptam, Nija Shakti Yukta. He's empowering Rupa Goswami. What was lost about all the teachings of this praying? I'm giving you the empowerment that you can now describe it all. And while you're describing it, up to the point of Ujjalilamani, up to books like Hangshaduta, Utkari Kavalari, all of these kind of Rasik grunts, you'll be able to hold your patience. What is that called? I told before. Patience, Darya. To hold means Dharin. Darya, Dharin, Shakti. The power to hold his patience so he could reveal the inner moods of Mahaprabhu. Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam. He revealed the Manobhishta Mahaprabhu. Is it Mano Abhisht? Mahaprabhu's desire was that all the jivas could get this kind of high class of praying because it does not come in every Kali Yuga. In every Kali Yuga, Mahaprabhu appears. But how does Mahaprabhu appear? As Gaura Narayan. And he gives the Yuga Dharma, which is Harinam. So it is not Swanama Premamrita Atyudara. In every Kali Yuga, it's not that name. In this Kali Yuga, once in a day of Brahma, it's that name. Therefore, don't think about lottery because you've already hit the lottery. Understand? If you come here just 500 years after Mahaprabhu, you've already hit lottery because now you have access. Apamar yo vita tara gaur. Those who are the most low of the low, they've had the opportunity now to come and worship at the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika. So I began speaking how this kind of Sambandha Gyan is absolutely necessary to understand what is our prayojan. Our prayojan is Krishna Prem. Who has Krishna Prem? Srimati Radharani is the controller, holder, dispenser, everything of Krishna Prem. And to those who are very near and dear to her, she infuses their heart like Mahaprabhu infused the heart of Rupa Goswami, and they are capable of also distributing this Prem. Krishna Shetumar, Krishna Deti Paro Tomara Sakati Ache. Oh Vaishnav Thakur, you both have Krishna, but Krishna Deti Paro. To others you can give Krishna. This was the big thing of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that the Vaishnav can give Krishna to others. So what is this Prem of Radhika? That Prem manifests in this world to the lowest rung in the form of Shraddha. And what is Shraddha? We explained before. Shraddha Anupayani Varajam Bhakti Unmukhi Chitta Vritti Visesh. From time without any beginning, the Jiva's Chitta means his consciousness has been turned towards the external world. There was no way for the Jiva to free himself from that grip of the external energy. Swato na sambhavanti. 11th canto, 22:10. It's mentioned there. You cannot free yourself. Anadi avidya yuktasha. Right? So it requires someone else. Ganato, Ganado Bhavat means the pure Vaishnav Sadhu Guru. Understand? So because no one could free themselves from this this material energy, it was very important that some means of breaking the abhinivesh of the jiva. The word abhinivesh means an absorption that's inextricable. We have a relative idea when you tell your child to get off the iPad. You understand? It's just a relative idea. You understand? How many times you have to call the name, right? So in the same way, imagine the function of the material energy. Material energy encaptures the jiva and completely avrita covers the jiva and they can't get out. But Shraddha has a special power. Anupayani Varajam. Bhakti Unmukhi Chitta Vritti Visesh. It can move the Chitta Vrittis to turn Unmukh towards Krishna. Something that you could not do from Anadikal. Shraddha has this power. This is the leanest, thinnest, first manifestation of Prem in this world. From whom will you get Shraddha? Well, I started going to temple in 1972, but I had not seen Radharani. Who? From Guru Sadhu. From Guru Sadhu. So, from Guru Sadhu, you'll get this. Right? Sava Sangamena Ratnyanko Rupeva Mati. Mati means this discrimination by which it opens the portal to allow Shraddha to come in. Mati is that time in your life when you say, nah, there's got to be something else besides this. I've been to every club, in every country. I've danced with every person, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. And I've not been able to find satisfaction. So there you start looking, there must be something else. This is called mati, right? And therefore, if you hear the verse, Brahmana Brahmati Kon Bhagavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Poi Bhakti Lata Bij. That word bij means mati. Mati means discrimination. And Lata means Krishna Seva Vasan. So first mati will come. And when mati will come, you'll search out a way to execute the alternative to what you were not experiencing material life to find real happiness. Then when you meet Sadhu Guru, then you'll have the tendency towards serving Krishna's call, Krishna Seva Vasan, that's the Lata. Understand? So now that is the smallest particle of the very prem that Radhika has. Understand? So Radhika's mercy comes into this world in the form of Shraddha. And it manifests to the Jiva in the form of Radhika's own near and dear associates who are Sadhu Guru. If a person is not truly Sadhu Guru, means he's not truly the Abhiman, I am the servant, the Palya Dasi of Radhika. If he doesn't have this Abhiman, You understand? Then, and Palidasi of Radhika here doesn't mean strictly Manjari Bhav. This is the ultimate meaning. But is not in Sakya Rasa dependent also on Radha and Krishna or not? Is Vatsalya Rasa dependent on Radha and Krishna or not? They are not always compatible rasa. So in rasa vichar, we'll have to understand this. But what would be the purpose of Krishna's mother and father, Krishna's friends, if there was no Radha Krishna? Therefore, in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our Mool Sastra, Shri Vyasadeva Ji starts off after his epiphany saying, Janmadhyasya yata, that Janma Adi Ras yata, everything is coming from Adi Ras. You understand? Adi Ras means Shringaras, Kanjugaras, Madhurya Rasa. If Krishna has no friends, then how will he have somebody to discuss some of his activities with Radhika? Does he discuss with his cowboys anything about his dealings with Radhika? Who says no? How many no's do I have? How many yeses do I have? Everybody's waiting to see. So it's mentioned in Ujjali Mani that Subal, Adyantika Rahasya Jnana, Saki Bhava Bhavita, that to the Priyanama Sakas, Krishna can discuss all about gopis. They will accompany Krishna also to go on any kind of tryst with gopis. Why? Because Saki Bhava Bhavita, in the presence of Krishna when he's with the gopis, they don't manifest any Purush Bhav. You understand? It doesn't mean, there's some controversy some years ago, they do not become Sakis. You cannot go from Sakya Rasa to Madhurya Rasa. It doesn't work like that. But what they have is called Anumodita. The word modita means happiness. Anu means when your happiness follows the happiness of someone else. You understand? Anumodita. They have deep anumodita. Their happiness is dependent when Krishna is happy. So because of that, like no one else in Braj, they don't have self-interest. Therefore, it's Rupa Manjari who's glorifying Subal by saying, Adyantika Rahasya Gyan. What doesn't he know? He can know everything because he is so dear to Krishna. So dear to Krishna. Once when Radhika was unable to go for Abhisar, because Jatila and Kutila, they drank many Red Bulls. And so they were staying up and they were not sleeping. And in that way, they were guarding the gate. Even if they wanted to go to sleep, they could not. The Red Bull for Jatila Kutila is always the speculation, conjecture, and suspicion that Radhika is doing something wrong. You understand? This is their Red Bull. So they're staying up all night, and in this way, Radhika was unable to leave for Abhisar. Krishna was waiting at the appointed rendezvous place. At that time, Krishna became so distressed. And Subal said, Oh, Saka, you please, I will help you. Long story short, Subal approached the house of Jatila and Kutila. And he told, listen, I think my calf has somehow escaped into your house. So Kutila is looking at him. How is possible a whole calf can escape into this house? Krishna's used this trick before also. Understand? He said, you don't understand. Our calves are so special that it's not like the big cows. They're very small. And they find a way to sneak in here and sneak in there. All I'm asking is that you allow me to go and investigate. If it is not there, I will come out. You know me. I have very good association. You know Madhu Mangal? He's a Brahmin. Madhu Mangal being a Brahmin, he's very Satyavrat. Means he's always telling truth. He always has very high class of proper dharma. So, oh, Maya, you should trust me. So Kutila agreed, and Jatila agreed, and allowed that Madhu Mangal could go. Madhu Mangal then found the Antapur. Antapur means in any house in Braj, there's the external part of the house that internally, ladies will stay in the Antapur. So that time, Subal found his way into the Antapur, and there he saw Sakis, Lalita Vishak, etc. And they would say, oh, just by seeing Subal, because Subal has some features like Krishna, their hearts became immediately cooled from the burning separation that Radhika was feeling. Their all hearts became cooled. So then they devised the plan. Listen, I will switch clothes with you, and you put on my Gopvesh, and I will stay here only in Yantapur, and I will become sick according to standard, so Jatila Kutila will not come to bother. Then you'll have the opportunity to go and meet with your beloved. So they changed clothes and everything, and of course there's only one problem, and that was a biological, physical problem. So then what he did was he went and actually took one of the calves of Abhimanyu, And he came and he put the calf like this. Two, so Radhika could take care of that problem. You understand? And then coming out, then she's, oh, what do you mean? She said, oh, Maya, see, I told you these calves are very tricky. But I'm promising you he will never come back here again. I've whispered in his ear a secret mantra, so he will never become lost from the herd again. And in this way, Kutila became very bewildered. So, okay, you should go, you should go. So in this way, Subal walked out in the form, actually Radhika, in the dress of Subal, walked out, and she went to the rendezvous place of Krishna. But when she arrived there, what did she do? She came, and in the voice of Subal, she said, oh, I'm very sorry, Saka. It was not possible today. Today is a very difficult day. Jatila Kutila, very much on alert. And also, there was no opportunity for me to even see Radhika. Oh, I don't know what to tell you. So Krishna then began to burst into tears. He said, but listen, Saka, why so many beautiful girls are here in this bride? This is Radhika talking. So be careful. Throw your old black book away. Don't get caught like this. So then he told, listen, there's so many beautiful girls in this brunch. And all are very anxious to meet with you. Sometimes Radhika also in her mind, she won't even give you opportunity. But so many beautiful girls, Bhadra, Saipya, Padma, especially Chandravali, they're so excited to meet you anytime. I can go right away and bring one of them easily. So then Krishna said, no, no one will do. Only Radhika will do. And Krishna began crying more and more. When Radhika saw that, her heart completely melted and she revealed herself. So in this way, this is the beauty of the nature of the prem of Radha and Krishna. All of that starts only in Shraddha. Just imagine. All that starts in Shraddha. Understand? That Shraddha, when it becomes Sadhu Sangha, that faith is reposed in the Sadhu. When you repose that faith in the Sadhu, the heart of the Sadhu melts. Just like in the case of Radhika hearing Krishna speak, her heart melted. When you repose your faith truly in the Sadhu, and you do Saranagata Sadhu, even though you say it every day, Nama Om, Na Aham Mameti, right? But sometimes we don't actualize it. We say it, but we don't actualize it. But if you will truly actualize it, and you will repose your faith in the Sadhu's heart will melt. And then the Sadhu will let free all of the instructions on bhajan. Understand? Then they will give you one power. In the Diksha mantras, they will give you a power called Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti is a feature of Swarup Shakti. It is also an element of praying. What is the power of this Kriya Shakti? This Kriya Shakti will give you progressive realizations from step to step. So your reposing of faith in the Sadhu will turn into Anartha Nivritti. You yourself cannot remove anarthas any more than you can remove darkness. How do you remove darkness? You have to turn on light. That Kriya Shakti is the illumination of Swarup Shakti. It will remove the anarthas. When the anarthas is removed, your heart will become placid, Nishta. And then when your heart is placid and you hear the Harikatha of Sri Krishna, then Tatat Baba Adi Madhyureshu Tidirapekshite Nasa Shastam Yuktinsha Tolovat Uttati Lakshanam. I told before, just like when you eat halava, you don't have to analyze it. Especially if you eat Bhumapati's halava. Understand? You don't have to analyze. Only eating the halava, the taste is so amazing, nobody thinks, well, it's farina, and then this and that, and I think you have to fry 20 minutes. Nobody thinks like that. Only people think, can I get seconds, thirds? You understand? It's the only calculation. In the same way, when you hear Harikatha on the stage of Ruchi, this takes place. You understand? When that Ruchi becomes mature, Proda para Atma, Saiti, Eva, Ashakti, or Bhajaniyam, it becomes Bhajaniya. It becomes Ruchi in the object of your worship. Where did you receive the hints of the object of your worship? At the time of taking Diksha. How many people have taken Diksha? How many people have Diksha? I mean, it's a trick question. So you received it. So Diksha means that process that reveals what was given from the heart of Guru at the time he gave the mantras. You understand? In the mantras, 5 things were given. Mantra Artha Chintan. What is the external artha or meaning of the mantra? Nyas, how to practice the mantra. Prapati, the inspiration for surrender. Saranagati, the actualization of the principles surrender. And then when you become realized, you can give your Atma. These 5 things compose Vidvat Rudhi Diksha. Many people I've spoken to, they still believe that Brahma Gayatri is the worship of the sun. Therefore, how is possible you got Sambandha Gyan? You understand? How is possible you got Sambandha Gyan? So, receiving Diksha means to receive that Sambandha Gyan. If you will do your bhajan every day in combination with your Diksha mantras and Harinam, automatically the process will reveal to you in incremental stages what is your own Swarup. Bhaktivinoda Thakur told, what is this? Oh. Nama Siddha Deha Diye Krishna Pase Rake Gia E Dera Sava Karinash. Oh Harinam, please reveal my Siddha Deha. He says, Harinam, reveal my Siddha Deha. Because after you have received the Diksha mantras, that is the, in fact, object of your worship. It's not different from Radha Krishna. Abhinatom Namanamyo. Now, the Diksha mantras have given relationship to that Radha and Krishna. If you are practicing daily Mangalarti, and you understand the Mangalarti, and you're doing the Dhyana of Mangalarti, at that time, revelation should come. First revelation, all Guru Astakam. Then revelation, all Mangalarti song. And then if you're singing Vibhavari, you say so many other, all revelations will come there. And then chanting Hare Krishna, it will completely reveal the Leela of Shri Radha and Krishna. In this kind of way. Then you will confirm with Brinda Devi. Oh, Brinda Devi, you are arranging all the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And you'll pray to Brinda Devi to please give you the mercy to practice Manjari Bhav. Understand? So if you're doing this, then the revelations will come of this. Now, when Suddha Sattva will descend, it is the first substance of Radhika's praying that manifests on the chitta of the jiva. First, an abhas will come. Understand? Jiva Goswami is written in Bhakti Sandarbha. Tasya Tadrisa Sudakaraka Bhasa Sumulasi Tadido Spatikamani. Your heart is pure like a crystal. At that time, the ruchi which has been developing, it's okay, Prabhu. It's fine. There'll be no disturbance. Kids will be like, so the ruchi which you initially received from a sadhu, that has grown and flourished. Now in the stage of a sakti, the abhas of the same mood, which correlates with your ruchi, will manifest on your heart as an abhas, means like a shadow. At that time, you know for sure, definitively, this is my mood. Prior to that, sometimes they can waver, depending on the strength of your faith and somebody again. But at the time of the abhas, of that eternal associate's mood, it is fixed. At that time, it only awaits for the descent of Swarup Shakti. Then Swarup Shakti will descend. Suddha Sattva Viseshat Man Prem Suyam Sasameba Ruchi Bis Chitta Masunya Kuraso Babu Chitte. When that Swarup Shakti descends, it is the first substantive element of Radhika's praying. Everything prior to that, or prior to a Shakti where there was an abhas, is called Prabhav, influence. You understand the difference? Influence means by the influence of Radhika's love, you were going through these various stages. When you came to a Shakti, the actual shadow of the prem originating from Radhika manifests on the chitta of the jiva. Abhas means like a shadow, but a perceptible shadow. I've given the example, if you're sunbathing and you feel the rays of the sun and somebody comes and stands over you, do you immediately notice it? Yes. Even if your eyes are closed, you can immediately tell something's changed. You understand? So in the same way, once that abhas comes onto the chitta, you immediately experience a difference. This is in the stage of a sakti. In that stage, you're only awaiting. You can't do anything else. You can only pray. You can only pray when. Then Swarup Shakti will descend. I've already described Swarup Shakti. This is the first substance of Radhika's praying that manifests on the chitta of the jiva. Saying Radhika's praying, meaning Radhika's the source of all praying. Understand? Not Radhika's praying. But she is the source of all praying. Then, when it descends onto your chitta, It describes a Vebuyaman over it all. Vajayate Tatsarupatam. Swayam Prakasharupopi, Basamana Prakashavat. It will take over the chitta. So no longer are your chitta vrittis functioning under your own inspiration, but they've been completely taken over by the vrittis of praying. Understand? And so now your chittas are independently under the influence, under the actual substance of that praying, functioning towards serving Krishna. So there's no chance here of self-interest coming in. You understand? That's called pure love. And now it only awaits a body suitable to hold it. In the meantime, what will happen? Seva, somebody repeat the verse, Seva. Seva Sari, everybody should know these verses, these are important things. Seva Sarika Rupena, Siddha Rupena, Tad Bhava Sunatara, Rajalokanu Sarika. So in your Sadak group, because you have Sadak group, you'll continue to practice everything as before. And in your Antradasha, your Swarup will be realized. And you'll practice according to that. Finally, when you give up this body, you will obtain a body completely suitable to accommodating the vastu of that plane which is descended. This was explained by Sri Narada Muni in the first canto of Bhagavatam. Prayuja Mani Mayitam Sudam Bhagavatim Tunu. He had a Sudha Tunu, means a completely pure body composed of Swarup Shakti, fully capable of manifesting the very Bhav that he had. Understand? Then that praying will turn into what? After praying comes? Sneha. What is Sneha? You had attachment all the way back in the Shakti.
Thick.
It's thick. It's condensed. Aruya Paramakashta Chit Deepa Deepana. If you take a light and you shine that light on another light, what happens to the light that you're shining the light on? It gets brighter. Prem at this point starts to function as it always has. It was Swayam Prakasha Rupopi, means it was self-illuminating. The prem now intensifies itself. It's not the function of the jiva. It's the function of prem. Chit Deepa Deepana, like a light shining on another light, the prem shines on itself and illuminates it even more. And then, Hridayam Dravyatam. It melts the heart even further than it was melted when it was in prem. When it melts further, it takes two tracks. It becomes like ghee or it becomes like honey. I'm not going to explain the entire Ujjwala money here because we'll never get to the point here. I haven't even gotten anywhere near where I'm trying to go. Right? It becomes like honey or like ghee. Those two directions manifest two polarities. One is an extreme polarity, which is Taddiya Bhav. Taddiya Bhav is found in who? Taddiya Bhav means I am his. In Chandravali. Going down a spectrum from Chandravali, you will come to Bhadra. There's a mixture of that, I am his, and some small degree of he is mine. If you move it over one step further, you'll come to Shaima Shakti or Shamla. Understand? There you'll find a predominance of Madhya Bhav, Krishna is mine, and a very small trace of I am his. And if you come to Srimati Radhika, what will you find? Only Madhya Bhav, he's mine. You understand? This spectrum manifests, all mine. This spectrum manifests as Vipaksh, Tatashthapaksh, Suritpaksh, and Swapaksh. You understand? So this sets up the dynamic for the glorification of Radhika in comparison to all other gopis. You understand? Because you have these four categories. And these four categories will manifest across the spectrum going forward in praying. When you get to Man, you understand? It will produce Man in two ways. Lalit Man, Udat Man. It means in Man of Chandravali, if Krishna will do anything wrong, then Chandravali will become little. She'll hold her head down, she'll cry a little bit, but she won't chastise Krishna or anything. You understand? If Krishna will take her hand at that time and say, oh Chandravali, don't worry, she'll remove her hand. You understand? Of course, if you try to Radhika, you might get slapped, transcendentally cursed out, any kind of thing. I'm being extreme here. So I'm saying that's the spectrum. You understand? In the man of Radhika de Susakya means she has such intimate feeling with Krishna, she may chastise him heavily. Not only that, not she will chastise him. Her associates will chastise like Lalita on her behalf. You understand? Even Manjaris, 12-and-a-half-year-old girls will tell you should go. Since you have so much fun over there, go that way. You understand? Don't let the leaves hit you as you go. You I don't think they said like that. I'm just exaggerating there. You understand? So, in this way, as they go up the chain, prem is increasing its own self. And it will go to rag. And that rag will become Nilimarag, Kusumbarag. Nilimarag and Chandravi, Kusumbarag and Radhika. And if you understand what happened all the way back at Sneha, you can understand that the features of Radhika are more progressively tasty to Krishna. You understand? Is that Krishna? Confirming. Okay. Now, as you go up the chain further and further, you will get to various states. In rag, dukkha adhikam chitte, shukyayate, swarupatam, dukkha manikam chitte, shukatvena evarajayate. That even when there is pain, you understand, and pain will be known according to the nature of the height of the person possessing that prey. So in this stage of rag, the greatest kind of pain, first Rupa Goswami gives the example of Radhika standing on the sharp stones of Govardhan. But then he says even more than that, what is the greatest pain for any chaste lady? That her chastity is doubted. If her chastity is doubted, this is more painful than anything. But Radhika, even on the prospect, not directly, even on the prospect, I might see Krishna, she will take all risk. You understand? She'll take all risk. And then she will think, even if Jatila will criticize me, Kutila will criticize me, Abhimanyu will threaten to go to Kamsa, that deep sense of pain which comes from my chastity being doubted, that will become Shukyatena Evarajayate. It will paint my entire heart with happiness. Understand? It's the height of her praying. That rag turns into anurag. What is that anurag? Anurag swasambedya dasya pratyupakasita yavat asraya vrittischa. In this state of anurag, the prem is so high that the prem actively tastes itself. Swasambedya dasya. The love tastes itself, and by tasting itself, it produces a newer and newer experience. Sad anu bhutta anava navam priyam. Does Krishna really change? Krishna is already the height of all beauty. Krishna is not changing. So how can the gopis see that Krishna is more beautiful at every minute? Perception. He's right. Perception means, yes, their prem is increasing. Krishna is not changing. Their prem is changing. And the prem is causing this perception. That's why in the verse, after the Vasikrita verse in Gopi Gita, Yate Sujata Chananamburunam Saneshu, right? Tasam Avibacha Chorismaya Manamukam Bojam, Pitambara Darasagri, Sakshat Manmat Manmat. Why did Krishna, when he reappeared, Sakshat Manmat Manmat, he appeared more beautiful, more enchanting like Cupid? Because their prem had increased over the course of Gopi Gita. And finally was expressed in the Vasikrita verse, Yate Sujata Chananamburunam Saneshu. Oh Krishna, our love has come to such a point that we become confused. Kinatat suke api sankaya. In Ujjalin Mani is written there, what is the description of Rudamabhav? It describes, if you think that Krishna is suffering in spite of the fact that he's greatly enjoying, that bewilderment is called Rutabhav. That's what was expressed in that verse. Everybody understand or not?
Why would he be suffering?
They think he's suffering. Because Krishna was wandering into the forest, they thought, because we're looking for you, and you're going deeper and deeper into the forest, that you're stepping on sharp stones. This is caused by our searching for you. And therefore now we feel where you've come originally to this forest in the middle of the night, simply to place your lotus feet on our hearts are too hard for you to do this. You understand? When Krishna heard that, he was done. Cooked on both sides, then double fried. Understand? Therefore, he had to appear. And then Gopi's question, what kind of love are you? I'm not going through this whole thing here. But this is the state of Anurag. The state of Anurag is also so wonderful that it manifests all the symptoms of itself on the body of the person. Yeah, Prapya Prakashita. You understand? Then the great feature of this Anurag is Yavad Asraya Vritti. It spills over and enters into the hearts of all of the others who are very near and dear to the repository of that love. Therefore, Rupa Manjari will experience, like in the first verse of Vilap Kushmanjali, the bite on her lip because Radhika was bitten on her lip by Krishna. I'm not going, if we start going Vilap Kushmanjali, everything will. Understand? So this is vicarious arrangement is done by Yavad Ashraya Vritti. It's called Asana Janata Ritvalodinam. It turns the heart of those who are nearby. That Anurag even increases and becomes Mahabhav. It becomes rude. It becomes Adirud. Even if you think about it, rude, Adirud. What is the meaning here? There's so many symptoms of Ruda Mahabhav. I already described some of them. Adirud means when that intensity of love observes itself, because that started happening all the way back, but became prominent in Anurag, when Ruda Mahabhav sees itself and experiences itself, it becomes Adirud. You understand? In Adirud, there will be Chitra Jalpa, like in Brahmar Geet. You understand? Radhika speaking 10 types of mad talk. There will be Udgurna, endeavors. Oh, please, take my body. Allow it to just pass and merge into the air. And take the limbs and wrap them around it tomorrow. This is all called Udgurna. You understand? And Dibyan Mad. This is an Adirud Mahabhav. That Adirud Mahabhav then becomes Modan, Mohan, and finally what we came to talk about, Radhika's Prem. Radhika's Prem is called Madan Bhav or Madanakya. Akya means it's called Madanakya Mahabhav. This Madanakya Mahabhav has been described. Savabavat Gavala Si, Madano Paratpara, Vladini Saro, Vladini Rajayate Saro, Radha Adaya Eva Sada. This Bhav, Sava Bhavat Gamalam Si, it illuminates all of the Bhavs beginning back from Shraddha. Try to understand this. All of the various things leading up to this point are illuminated in Radhika's Mahabhav. So Radhika's love for Krishna is the container of everything from Shraddha to Mahabhav. You understand? Savabara Gavalam Si. It illuminates everything, all the way from Shraddha to the highest class of Madanakya Mahabhav. And because it does that, it has the feature that it captures Krishna in such a way it never lets go. Yoga eva bhavedesha, vichitti kopi madanaha, vrajavilasi virajanti, nitchalila sahasrada. Second description of Madanakya Mahabhav. Yogesha bhavedesha. They're always in yoga. Wait a minute, Mukunda, hold it. If they're always in yoga meeting, how does separation happen? This is the mystery of Radhika's Prem. You understand? Vraja Vilasa Virajante. It only takes place in Braj. Therefore, the statement could be made, Krishna never takes one step out of Vrindavan. Well, wait a minute. There's a bunch of confusion now. Didn't he go to Mathura and to Dwarka? According to this deep mood of Madanakya Mahabhav, Krishna and Radhika are always together. What happens? Nitya Lila Sahasrada. Sahasrada means thousands. In thousands of various prakoshta or chambers, Radhika is experiencing various leelas with Krishna simultaneously. And in which Abhiman Radhika will identify, she'll see that leela. So even if Krishna and Radhika are right next to each other, like at Prem Sarovara, and Madhu Manga will give the Udipan by saying, oh, that Madhusudan is gone and will not return. Radhika will enter a prakoshta in which she's separated from Krishna. This is the secret of Prem Vaichitya. Has Krishna gone anywhere? He's there. How is she experiencing separation? We've always said, oh, it's Prem Vaichitya, Prabhu. But what does Prem Vaichitya? Nitya Lila Sahasrada. Radhika can enter a prakoshta in which she's separated from Krishna. You understand? It's an Abhiman. And in that prakoshta, you go through all the symptoms of separation. But the power of their love never truly allows them to be separated. Therefore, separation is seen as only something that nourishes their praying. So Mathura and Dwarka are only the Rohit Kshetras that nourish the love of Braj. They're not separate places. Would we care about a Mathura or Dwarka if there was no Vrindavan? Who would care? You understand? What is the meaning of Mathura if there's no Vrindavan? Or what is the meaning of Dwarka if there's no Vrindavan? Because these places provide separation. They are important to Vrindavan. In the Nitya Dham, does Krishna ever go to Mathura and Dwarka?
No.
Huh? So how do they experience that there? How? Somebody reciting the pastimes. Madhukanta and Snigdhakanta reciting the pastimes of their Boma Lila. And when Madhukanta and Snigdhakanta recite, because their hearts are completely pure, their hearts are completely imbued with the mood of pleasing to Radha and Krishna, that Hari Katha becomes an actualization of an Abhiman. And all Brijabasis enter into a particular Abhiman. Krishna is separated. Krishna was in Mathura, this and that. You understand? And in this world, it's played out as an actual Leela. You understand? Because here, it allows for Leelas like Krishna going to Dwarka. And in Dwarka, it is called Sudur Pravas. Because there's 4 types of meaning and 4 kinds of separation. Sudur Pravas means that now, when they meet at Kurukshetra, some Riddiman Sambhog can happen. So Sudur Pravas means when someone goes to a distant place for a long time and comes under the control of others, it's called Sudur Pravas. When Krishna takes the cows out every day, it's just called Pravas. It means he's just taking the cows out. They will see Krishna later on that day. But sometimes they can't wait. And even Pravas becomes very intense. How do we know this? Is there any proof? Atatite Vavan Anikananam Tritiyugayate Tvam Apashatam. If he goes to take the cows out in the morning, Tritiyugayate, it seems like a whole yuga has passed. Shanata Kalpata, this is one of the symptoms of Rudama Bhavanuja. Understand? So what to speak of, Krishna's gone for 90 years to Dwarka. And then they finally come to Kurukshetra during the solar eclipse. You understand? If Krishna going from early in the morning to around 3 or 4 o'clock, and they've also seen him at Radhakund at midday, and still, that's like yugas have passed. What is the separation mood of going to Dwarka for 90 years? That produces some Riddhiman Sambhog, the highest kind of meeting. Inconceivable. Understand? This is Radhika's Prem. It's called Maranakya Mahabhav. But in order for this bhav to be exchanged, there must be a hero and a heroine. So Rupa Goswami, taking Bhat Muni's, get ready to conclude it. Taking Bhat Muni's template of the Natya Sastra. At that time, he described what is Nayak and Nayika. So Krishna is the Nayak. This Nayak has 96 different avas. Means 96 different moods. How? Krishna can be pati, husband, or upapati, like a paramour. Krishna as pati and upapati is perfect in Dwarka. He's more perfect in Mathura and most perfect in Braja. Therefore, 2 now times this 3 is 6. Those heroes also have different moods. So there are 8 moods, right? These moods are Anukul, Drasht, Shat, and Dakshin. These are 4 kinds of moods of Krishna. Sat means a kind of lover who in front of your face, oh, you're my only one. Then later on in the afternoon, that's not the case. All right? In Krishna, this is all reconciled. So don't try this at home. Okay? Drash. Drash means a lover who is so bold that right in front of the beloved, they may sport with other gopis. Dakshin, who is completely submissive to their beloved. They are called Dakshin. And Anukul means who is very favorably disposed towards the desires of the beloved. That person also manifests 4 different kinds of other moods. Dirodatta, Dirodatta, Dirosanta, and Dirlalit. So they all have different meanings. Of course, Krishna is primarily known as what kind of Nayak? Dirlalit. When we have Krishna on the altar, this pose is the pose of a Dirlalit Nayak. Understand? In the dancing pose, called Dirlalit Nayak. I'm speeding things up here. Right? So this Dirlalit Nayak is the most favorable for the service to Srimati Radhika for us. When we bring Krishna to Radhika, he should be in this mood. You understand? Dear Lalit Nayak, very desirous to submit to the control of Srimati Radhika. So in this way, when you do all the math, it's 96 qualities. Similarly, the Nayika has qualities, but her qualities are 360. Understand? How? There are three kinds of Nayika. Those who are Swakiya, married, Parakiya, unmarried, right? Or married to someone else, rather. And Kanya means they have not been married yet. Those three kinds of Nayika, right? There's three different moods. Mukta, Madhya, and Pragalpa. For the unmarried, she's only Mukta. Mukta means she has no expertise in romantic dealings. And if her heart will be broken, she'll simply cry and scratch the ground with her toes. She doesn't have any retort. That who's Madhya has some expertise now because they're Vayasandhi. It means they're coming into the age of some maturity. So if Krishna will do something wrong, they have some ability to retort something. But still, they need the shelter of their friends for help and everything. Who is Pragalpa? Like who's Pragalpa? Lalita Saki. They can very easily tell all kinds of things. What are you saying, stupid fool? Understand? You don't know anything. We don't need you here. Us, go. If you don't speak Sanskrit or Hindi, vamos. Whatever. How do you say in Russian, go? Huh? Leave. Well, in Russian, English, everything, go. Kwaji. So in all languages, Lalita can say, go, get out of here, we don't need you. You understand? This is called Pragalpa. You understand? So, now, besides that, those who are Madhya and Pragalpa, they also have different moods. If Krishna will do something wrong and they go into Man, they can be Dhira, means sober. Adhira, not sober. And Dhira Dhira. So Dhira Dhira is the most sweet. Because Dhira means they're half and half. So Radhika has this mood, Dhira Adhira Madhya Nayika. Understand? And therefore she's filled with qualities which are very attractive to Krishna. So anyway, if you take everything, you have three kinds of heroine, and then you have these different moods. You come to 15 types of Nayika altogether. Those 15 types of Nayika, they have 8 different mental conditions. They're called avas, means 8 different kinds of mindsets. I'm going quickly. One is called abhisar. Abhisar means everything that's necessary to arrange the rendezvous and meeting between the lover and the beloved. Vasak sajja, how the heroine will decorate herself, perfume herself, get dressed. Also, how she will decorate the place of their meeting. It's called vasak sajja. Utkantita, she's very anxious to await the arrival of her beloved. So kanta means neck, ut means up. So she's constantly raising her head. Has he come yet? Has she come yet? It's called utkantita. Then the beloved is very delayed for some reason or another. At that time, she becomes kandita, angry. You understand? And then the lover, he comes very, very late. At that time, she has very scolding words for him because he comes only in the last portion of their meeting time. She's called kalahandrita, means arguing with him. And if he does not come at all due to some misfortune, she's called vipralabdha, means that they were unable to meet at all. When Krishna will leave to go to Mathura Dwarka, the heroine is called Prasiddha Bhatrika Nayika. What is most favorable for us will be when the heroine is in the last of these avas. It is called Swadhin Bhatrika Nayika. Swadhin means who has brought the lover completely under her control. Therefore, anybody who's paying attention to how to serve Radhika, if you give class in any temple and you'll start singing, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jai Kunja Vihari, you've just declared your allegiance to the Swadhina Bhatrika Nayika. Jaya Radha Madhava. Krishna can only have the name Madhav when he is in Dear Lalit Nayak and Radhika Swadhina Bhatrika Nayika. It's mentioned directly in Ajaiva Dharma and Udalima. Understand? When Krishna's in that mood, he's called Madhav.
Nowhere else.
Nowhere else. Madhav means who is the husband of the goddess of fortune. Radhika, when she's Swadhina Bhatrika, she's the supreme category of a goddess of fortune, because no fortune exceeds that. It's mentioned in Ramani Shiromani that Rati Gori Lila Satya Sachi Satya Lakshmi, none can compare to her, even Chandravali, because Chandravali does not have Vasikari. She cannot completely control Krishna. Therefore, Radhika is completely and absolutely the most fortunate of all. Therefore, he's called Madhava because he's associating truly with the absolute goddess of fortune. Understand? So this is called Swadhina Bhatrika Nayaka. These 8 of us times 15 makes 120. According to the degree of their prem, especially their mood of separation, they're classified as Kanishta, Majjhima, and Uttam. 3 times 120 is 360 kinds of Nayika. You understand? So this is the nature of Radhika. This is the beauty of Radhika Swarup. I'm by time not going to be able to discuss that, but Radhika has Shushta Kanti Swarup. Means her form cannot be beautified. You understand? So any ornaments put on Radhika are decorated by her beauty. You understand? If Radhika wears no ornaments, she is as beautiful, and then when Krishna looks at her, she becomes more beautiful. This is the glory of that person to whom we want to be the Palyadasi. This is the prem of that person to whom we want to be Palyadasi. You understand? So to understand the glory of Radhika then gives the import of what is our Sambandha Gyan, deep, thick greed to obtain. If you don't understand the ontology, the glory of Radhika in this way, then you can't understand Radhika's Leela. You understand? If you don't understand the nature of that person, you can't understand their Leela. You understand? So, Jai Shrimati Radharani
Krishna sees Radharani. When Radharani sees Krishna, she becomes like more beautiful to him, and like he sees her, he becomes
more beautiful.
It's that Prabhupada mentions in that purport how ad infinity.
It just keeps growing.
Right now, it's constantly growing.
It's called Paraspara. Paraspara means something that mutually nourishes something else. So when Krishna sees Radhika, her beauty increases, and due to the anurag of Radhika, Krishna's beauty increases.
Yes.
Unlimitedly. Any 1 or 2 questions?
The question from previous lecture in 2000 and somebody else.
Somebody else can go until we find. Any other comments, questions? Anybody want to offer anything? Boss, 1 question. I can always go ahead.
I was hearing Maharaj, Bhakti Srila Maharaj's lecture on Radhastami, and he was explaining how Radhika, like you were saying, like Radhika has so many qualities, right? He mentions that he has 23, but those 23 supersede those 64 completely.
25.
Yeah, 25.
It says 25 qualities,
yeah,
yes.
And
those 25 qualities, they have the power to supersede the 64 qualities of Krishna, because Krishna is attracted to those 25 qualities with all of his qualities.
Yeah. He also is explaining how Radhika's uncle Bell is teaching Krishna's flute.
Oh, I've
yes.
not heard.
Yes. all music comes from Radhika's
Oh, that I've heard. Yeah.
That's why Krishna's very good at playing flute. Not because he's good at playing flute, because he learned from Radhika's uncle Bell.
Because he's always listening for Radhika. Very nice.
And it was just
very nice. Very nice. This was today.
No, this was
Radhastami. Oh, I might have heard. Yeah. He also described the group of Radhika, how it is so beautiful it cannot be beautified.
Yes.
At that time. Also, Radhika has 25 qualities. Dwadas Abharan means 12 kinds of decoration. Sorasa Sringhar. And the most charming feature of Radhika is called Kila Kinchita Bhav. Kila Kinchita Bhav means Gava. What is this? Gava Abhilas Rudita. Smita Suya. Krodha Bhaya. Shankari Karanam Harshat. Uchite Kila Kinchitam. When she's pride mixes with desire, and she's crying, and she's shows some mood of jealousy, and at the same time she becomes fearful and angry, and she shrinks away from Krishna. Sankari means to shrink away, and she puts her hand up and shrinks away. But she's smiling, so Krishna knows she's actually happy. Harshad. This is called Kila Kinchit Bhav, and it's the most favorite expression of Radhika. Have you ever seen it? You've seen it so many times. Understand? This is called Kila Kinchit Bhav. Understand?
I found it.
Okay,
Birthday
quickly.
2003 in Jaya. Speaking of this from Jayadeva Swami. Didn't understand why Kamala usually refers to
A lotus. But it can refer so many things.
Radhika as well.
Yes. Radhika is like Kamal, like a lotus flower. It's used in so many different analogies.
Srita Kamala Kuka Mando.
Chitta Kamala Kucha Mandala. Yeah, it's very deep bhajan. Alright, my Dhanavad Pranam, Radhe Radhe. Arti?
Yes.
Okay, Arti. Jai Bol, devotees on the phone. Dhanavad Radhe Radhe. Happy Radhastami to all. Oh, Haribo, no class Sunday because Parvati's traveling. So they'll be speaking at the temple. Bhumi Pati will be speaking at the temple on Sunday.